Okay, I had to restart that. Share your screen with your audience. Okay, here we go. Yeah, in the screen. What is this? Share, this is new. Share, this is new. Mute. Okay, I am live. I am 20 minutes late, but I am live now. Why? Oh, hello there. Okay, hold on. Let me. Hi, who is this? Don't need. Okay, don't need. Hi. How are you? I'll type it. Okay, let me get somewhere where I'm a little lighter inside here. Dark. Darker than I expected. Can you see me? Let's make more light. Turn my light on. And I know I'm late too. I'm gonna put some light on in here so you can see me more clear. I hate dark lives. And could you tell me if you can hear me loud enough? Can you hear? Hi. Oh my God. I'm so happy to see everyone. Hold on, let me put a little more light in here. Oh yeah, I think that might work. Let's make the room lighter. Let's see. Oh no, I left my ring light in. Wait a minute. Who am I? In. Hold tight, guys. I will fix this. Yeah, that's better. Mm-hmm. Okay, hold on. Let me fix this light better. Mm-hmm. Don't go anywhere, people. I know how I can fix it. It doesn't go so far. Like here, like a ring light. Ooh, some more people. Okay, so I got 2 people. So we got 2 in the room. We're good. Oh, here, I can put it here. Right beside me. Okay, I think it's a little better. Okay. It's a little better. Hang in there. It's nice to see you too. It's been a long time since I've done a live. I left my ring light in the Czech Republic in Prague. So I'm in Portugal right now on the coast. So I'm doing something. Oh, I look sweaty. Okay. Give me a couple more minutes to get this light. I think that's better there. Okay, we might have to do with that. I take my glasses off for now. I don't need them. So, well, yes, I do need them. But I left my ring light in the Czech Republic in Prague, so I'm dealing with different type of lighting here and what is the best way to use it. Once I figure that out, which could be a couple of more seconds, then we can just start. It's only not that many in here yet. Let's hope more people come. Okay, I think this is good. Now, if you have questions for me regarding this is going to tell me if you can hear me clearly. You can hear me. Okay, good. And then just put a Q in front of your question, so I know it's a question. Or you could just me, or just chat in general. That's fine, because this is a Q&A where, like I said, you can just ask me anything. I'm gonna put it this way. It's too dark. Okay, I'm still working on the lighting. I don't want to look so harsh with some of this lighting. Let's go here. Don't need. Okay. I'm looking at the names. I know the names don't look familiar. Could you tell your first name, or how do you know about me? And because I know it's a possibility you've been on a live before, or something. You're familiar with me, I'm assuming. There. I think this is better. Okay. I'm still trying to get it right. I think that'll do for now. This lighting. It just keeps moving. Okay. So nice to see you. You can hear me good. Sorry for the lighting. Like I said, I left my ring light in Prague. So I'm kind of, what do you call that? Ad-libbing. Let's move it over here. Excuse my junk in the back. So I'm ad-libbing for now with some light I made up. So we'll just have to deal with this. So I am in the Czech, not Czech, sorry. I'm in Portugal, and it's amazing here. But it was only for coming just for the holiday season, because I wanted to be somewhere warm. I saw one of your other videos, and I think it was under my other. Okay. Well, welcome everyone. I am glad, even though it's not many of us, but I'm here, even if it's just for one, or just in my videos in general. I was, told that I should probably do another one, because what's happening in the United States with regard to all the crazy, divisiveness with the president, and, my glasses are crooked, with, the choice of who Americans chose, for the presidency. Yes, and in Tbilisi. Oh, I miss Georgia. I miss it. Okay, you said we met in Tbilisi. Oh yes, we might, or you might go to Tbilisi. Tbilisi is, I recommend. I recommend Georgia in general. Georgia's a good country. The people are nice. I think for the most part, it's one of those countries where, um, you know, you feel comfortable. You don't have that fear about, how you're going to be treated, or anything like that. They love Americans. They welcome Americans. A lot of countries love Americans, contrary to what people say. A lot of countries, from my experience. Uh, you are my best friend. Amy left here before 9/11. Oh, really? They left Tbilisi before 9/11, or left the U.S. before 9/11. And who else have I read? Yeah, someone or the other. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Could you clarify? Was you said you're my best friend Amy left here before 9/11. Where's here? Left from Ethiopia. Oh, amazing. So you left Ethiopia and before 9/11, and where are you now? Yeah. Because That's one place I do want to go to Ethiopia too. I want to visit so many. I want a lot of more. Yeah, I had a best friend Amy, and she left the United States before. Okay, yeah, and so now she left before 9/11. Okay, yeah, things are different in the United States. It's like they have this um, saying that it's where the American dream, all that stuff, and it depends on who you are and what you want. Oh, Abu Dhabi. Okay, I want to go there too. I was offered a job in Abu Dhabi last year, actually teaching English, but I had so many other opportunities that was in Europe that I was tied to. I couldn't do it. But I think that's a place that people should think about as well. It should be on the list of places to go to try because you want to go somewhere where you can have work, but at the same time, it has a good quality of life. The culture may be different, but so what? Everyone's culture is different. You get used to it and you respect and you learn. So yeah, I'm definitely interested in going to Abu Dhabi and seeing what it's like there too, because I had that job offer and it was very lucrative. To a certain degree. To me, it was lucrative. Let me see if I can make this a little higher. And some water. Any questions for me though regarding where I am, where I'm going? What are you all interest in as far as travel or moving abroad? Where are you currently? Put in a chat where you currently are, if you don't mind. I think I'm gonna make this a little bigger so you can see me better. One moment, a little higher. I think that makes it. I'll put the light back again. Makes it a little better. Oh yeah, that's much better. Yeah, it looks good to work in. Okay, that's what I heard. I heard, they have it's a good place to work. Um, it's also a place where you can live. I've heard. I have a friend, American friend, that was teaching there and saving money while she was there because she was getting paid quite a bit to teach at a school, and her quality of life was good. She said, much calmer, just easier. You know. USA. Okay, so you're thinking about leaving. Uh, that's what the live is about. But have you been interested in going abroad somewhere? Ask me any questions. I'll answer those because I can tell you a little bit about me. I think you probably are. If you watched a live of mine before, most likely you probably know my story. Meaning, I'm from California and I, lived there all my life, and that's where I was raised. And I never really traveled. I didn't start traveling until I became a full adult, of course, because I did the corporate thing for many years and was just, doing what a lot of Americans do, just work, you know, I was moving up the ladder in your job. That's your job is who you are. So your main focus is your career, moving up in your career. Let me see what you Casey, yay! Hi. How are you? I'm good. I have someone else in the live. So we're getting up there in numbers. But I appreciate all of you all for even being here. But yeah, I just got tired of the rat race, and you want to live a long life. You want to have quality of life. You don't want to, because life is more than just work. And we don't realize that when you're in it, when you're in the thick of it. You don't realize that until you go abroad and you see that, not to say that every place of being abroad is perfect, like it's more perfect than anywhere in the world. I'm not saying that. It's just the fact that other countries have a different culture and their culture is not wrapped up in working. It's wrapped up in balance of life. And to them, when I say that, a lot of my European friends and I say, I just want to live a balanced life. They're so used to it because that's what they do. They're like, what do you mean? Aren't you living a balanced life? And then I tell them what it's like in the US, that, our job is who we are. It's like that. As soon as you get out of school, you get your career, and then you move up the ladder and you buy things and you buy homes, and that's your focus. You're not thinking about, going on holiday all the time, or taking your vacation, or eating your dinner, slowly at work, and, kind of, working just to work and get the job done, and you then going home to live. We don't know what that's like, And so I tell that to them, and they're shocked because they don't think, they have a different perception of the American dream and what we're doing. Questions for me. Let me see. I have some stuff written down too, just in case. La 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 la. How I ended up in. Okay. So hey Casey, are you still this the Casey that's in Mexico, right? Mexico City? Yeah. Yay! How are things there? You agree? Quality of life still good, right? Good question. Yeah, good. Yeah, I'm good. Okay, good, Casey. She's still trapped. She's still in Mexico, and she's American, has her family as well. Yeah, okay. How do I make money while I'm abroad? That's one of the main questions I get a lot, and I just don't want to post it on my YouTube, but I might start doing that too. So I start off, and anyone can do it if they're a native speaker. I started off teaching English, and there's so many apps and so many different schools, and that you can apply for online as a English teacher, teaching English. And but you definitely, as Americans, Canadians, and Australians, native speakers. And so I started off doing that. I'm still doing that, but a different level of it. But yeah, so I started off just teaching English online using the apps. Like, you have a lot of apps online, or even companies. They may not be apps, but they're online teaching platforms. And I started. You have to have a TEFL certificate for most of them, and that's easy to get. A TEFL certificate. I'm not sure if you've heard of it. TEFL. It means Teaching English as a Foreign Language. Most of the schools require that. It's not difficult to get, and then you can teach English. And a lot of times it's students who already speak English from all over the world, but they need to either improve their English, or they're going abroad and they need to take maybe some IELTS exams, which are English tests, and you help them with that, or you help them with speaking. You create your own materials, or most of the platforms I worked for, they had materials already. And so it was really easy once I discovered them, because I learned about these programs while I was abroad. So, you can find them on, I'll put the link in, and also in the chat of one of the um, websites I use to search for these online English speaking schools. I think I have one right here, and I'll put that in there. So that was one way, a lot of them are American companies, so you are making U.S. dollars. So if you're living in a less expensive country, it's really good. It helped me. And then I ventured into, after I met many students from different places and different countries, I started branching out and teaching business English, because I started meeting a lot of corporate students who were working for different corporations that were international. And so I kind of changed my skills and started learning how to teach. Well, not really learning, but teaching business English to specific students, corporate, because students who work for Coca-Cola, that's international, or Johnson and Johnson, things like that. So it doesn't have to be English for children only. Teaching English to a certain group, you can teach English to for corporations, because English is becoming the global language now. A lot of companies are all over the world; they're global, And so the employees need to have English, and they need to have it perfected to a certain degree, because even if they are not native speakers, they're not. These companies can totally be all in Europe, but they don't speak each other's language. They don't speak Swedish. They don't speak German, because these are different colleagues that are dealing with each other. They can't speak each other's language, so they speak the common language, which is English. So English is really, really a needed profession in Europe, and not just Europe, but other countries too, because like I said, it's becoming the global language. And so if we're a native speaker, or from countries where English is your first language, that is your door, your foot in the door, as far as making money online. And taxes and things like that, it's not as hard as you think. If you're same thing, if you are a worker who works online, and you are, what do you call that, I forgot. Now I'm going blank. But you're contracted out. It's the same tax purposes you would do at home. In the US. You fill out your tax forms as a contracted worker, or solo owner of a business, which now I do have my small business. But it's not as hard as you all think, right, Casey? uh, you know, put in the chat what you do, if you don't mind. I mean, because she has like her side businesses, and because we met abroad, um, Casey, I think we met in, what did we meet? Were we in Hungary? No, we didn't meet in Budapest. We went to Budapest. No, we did meet in Budapest. Yeah. Oh, no problem. I love sharing. Budapest. Okay, we were in Budapest. Yeah. So it's not hard at all. I love to share this with everyone, but there's so many people that have these fears, because it's the lies that the U.S. tell us about other countries and about living abroad, that brings the fear in most Americans, because we're told that America is the best country. Everybody wants to come to America, and to a certain degree they do, but they're also under this illusion of what U.S. is. I'll tell you a short story. I actually have a student today, but yeah, I had her today, but she has been my student for over a year, and she's from Armenia. And so she is a journalist, because I also teach a lot of journalists, because that was my prior career. I used to work in television for CBS. So I met her. I teach her business English, and specifically because I have the business English lingo and phrases for journalism. And she's a journalist in Armenia, and they offered her a job in the United States, and that's her dream, to go to the United States. And they gave her four offers of different states. One was Madison, Wisconsin. The other one was New York, somewhere in New York, upstate New York. Then there was another one that Chicago, that she didn't get, but she really wanted that one. And then I can't remember, another one was in Midwest somewhere. And so she was so excited, and she says, when I get there, I want to keep learning. I need to continue my English. So we'll stay in contact, and I'll schedule classes when I get there. Because the time zone is different, we didn't get a chance to keep our lessons up. But I didn't see her for about 2 months. She just got back. I had her first lesson today with her, and she's back in Armenia. And she was in the US for 2 months. And the 2 months was her getting her onboarding, just to see what it's going to be like, where she's going to be working, which was CBS, Madison in Wisconsin. They had ended up giving her the job there. And so she's back, came back home. She was going to pack up and then go back. But before she came back, she traveled to LA, my home. She went to Chicago, and I think she said New York. And she was very, very shocked and disappointed. She said in Wisconsin, she said she was walking. You know how our country is, nowhere is really walkable. And she said she was walking, and people were stopping her, asking her if her car broke down. And then she said people were, she felt very lonely because everybody worked. She said she had never seen people work that much. She's, when she was at CBS, she said everybody ate their lunch at their desk and no one sat and had lunch and talked to her. She said she felt so lonely and isolated in Madison because even though she had a community there, that's not the culture. And everybody was working, everybody, they didn't have time to show her around or introduce her to certain things. And I tried to tell her each state is different, but for the most part our culture is work. And she said she was so shocked. She said, oh my God, we were there. I get to work at 7 a.m. and we didn't leave until 7 p.m. And I was, it's like 12 hours a day. And she was like, who works like that? I was like, Americans. So she went to Chicago and she went to the other cities just to visit, even though her work wasn't there. But she came back home, and today she told me she doesn't want to move to the US now because she now appreciates Armenia and Europe. And now she changed her plans. She wants to live in Europe now because she doesn't want to work like that. She wanted to be able to enjoy, her life too, and work at the same time, but have a balance. Is my story too long? But that's a true story, and it happened today. And everybody, this used to be every other foreigner's dream to go to America. And I told her, I said, I'm glad I didn't tell you the truth before you left. I wanted you to experience it for yourself. It's not a bad country. I'm not a USA hater. I'm a realist. It's a big difference between European culture and even Asia, culture and the United States. It is a big difference. And some like that hustle bustle, and some Americans, we don't know any difference until you experience something else. And then your soul tells you, woo, this feels better, you know, to be able to have a conversation with someone and them not ask you, what do you do for a living? That's not even in the conversation with most of my European friends. We never talk about work. And when you meet someone, it's not the first thing they ask you. Sometimes it never comes up. What do you do? But yeah, because I teach that phrase. When I was teaching English to one of my business professionals, and he was at a conference in the USA for his company, but he's European. And someone asked him, what does he do at his company? What does he do for a living? And what does he do? They didn't say for a living. They said, what do you do? And he started telling him his, what he did. He likes to go fishing. He likes photography. And they were like, no, what is your job? So we tie our jobs into who we are as people, and they don't do that. Okay, I see a question. We can't see it unless, yeah, you can't see it until you move to another place. And that's why I said it's no fault of ours unless you go abroad and you don't like it and you like your life the way it was. That's fine. But for the most part, we don't know until we move abroad, or you still don't know when you go on a vacation. I keep saying holiday because Europeans don't say vacation, they say holiday. So forgive me if I mix the two up sometimes. Going on vacation or going on holiday, they're both the same. But yeah, it's even going on a vacation for 2 weeks is not going to show you the difference. And that's why a lot of Americans, they're like, well, I've been on vacation. It don't seem different to me. Yeah, because you're in a holiday mode, a vacation mode, and you're only in the touristy areas. You're not living like a local, and you're not doing everyday things like a local. I say, even if you can't move, pick a place that's maybe central. I'd say somewhere like somewhere that you want to go. Let's say you want to go to Budapest. Go there, and Budapest is central, so it's near the Czech Republic, it's near Prague, it's near Germany, it's near a lot of other countries. That you can get there within a couple hours. Go somewhere, base yourself there for a month or two if you can, and then live. And then during that usually how I do that, I've done that. That's how I did it. And stay in an Airbnb, or they have websites now that are similar to Airbnbs that are cheaper. And in these countries I'm talking about, like Budapest, the Czech Republic, Prague, places like that, are very affordable. compared to the United States and compared to some of the other Western European countries. Base yourself there for about a month or two and just live like a local. Go to the grocery stores. Don't worry about the languages because the language you have your Google Translate. Don't let the language fear you because they are wanting to speak English. If they say if they don't speak English, you can use hand language. It's so simple. Sign language. I want to go there. How much is this? With kindness, and they're fine with that. And because at the end of the day, they know they need English, and so they're happy to hear it and even practice. But learn a few words like thank you, how much is this, and good day, how was your day, or not how was your day, but hello, good day, good evening. Those things get you through. Very very good. We can't see it. Okay, I'm still looking. Any other questions about making money? I can continue on that. That's so easy now with we live in a digital world. Everything is so easy to do money wise online. There's passive income you can make. I'm making money, doing teaching online, but also have other things that I do. So much, yeah, so much remote work, so much. It's You can go on YouTube, and I have this one lady I follow, and I don't follow her as much now. Let me see if I have it on my phone. But I had gotten so much resources from her for online work. If you don't want to teach, you can do Amazon, KDP. You can upload materials or ebooks and upload it on Amazon. Some people have done that. Now with AI, they do a lot of the work for you. You can put a whole ebook together with AI. Obrigada. Yes, obrigada. Thank you. And I learn even with obrigada because, I'm here in Portugal. I'm a woman, so I say obrigada. And if I was a man, you would be obrigado. It's like I have to learn all these different things too. But I love you'll find learning languages is fun. I think it's fun once you get past the scariness of it all. But back to what Casey said, it's so much remote work. Let me see if I can find a lady that I follow, and I'll put all those links in the chat after. You'll see it after the live. Let me see if I can go there. I forgot her name, but I found so many different resources. And then there's one. Let me type this one. This is for teaching English because it's the easiest way to get you out, and then you can add all the other sources of income. Let's see if I can, because it's actually on my desktop right now. It's called, let's see, and let me know if you can see it. Oops, I'm in the wrong area. Sorry about that. Okay, it's called Good Air. I'm looking at my desktop edit. Yeah, language. This one. It's called Good Air Language, and it's www.goodairlanguage. You can just type that in. All the online English teaching platforms are there, the ones for ground, and they're from all over the world. It's a good resource for. This is a good way to get out and to answer some people's questions that they have in their head probably about this is that they pay pretty well. You have some pay as low as $10 an hour, and some, like I work for Cambridge schools now. That one was a process for me to get because these are all where the corporate students are. But I got them through another company that I interviewed with online, but it wasn't difficult either. But all my Cambridge students are adults and they are online as well. And these types of companies pay at least, $35 and up, 35 euro, I'm sorry, and above. But even the ones that pay 10 and 15 and 20, if you're living, like I said, in a cheaper country and you have a lot of enough students, which you don't need a whole lot, it helps. You can live off of these jobs because I did. Because sorry about that. When I was trying to figure it out and I didn't want to go home, to the US because I wanted to stay abroad and see how long I can do it. And yeah, that's how I made my living off of some of these schools, these online platforms. What other questions? Yeah, let me find this website too, and I could put it. It's actually a YouTuber, and she is through. Hope I have them saved. And I found. Oops, sorry. I found these websites through their home history. Any questions? Like Casey said, so much remote work, and where I am, even for example, I'm in Faro, I'm in Portugal, but I'm on in the south where it's more of the beautiful beaches and the huge coastline or whatever. But I'm in this home that I'm renting through Be Life. It's called Be Life Rentals. It's a Portuguese rental company. I'm paying very, very reasonable for a whole home, and it has a pool. It's usually they rent it out to like a family, but since it's low season, it's just me and it's another lady that's coming tomorrow, and so it'd be both of us. But yeah, and it's very cheap and good quality of life, and I'm working online. I'm surprised the Wi-Fi is doing good today. It wasn't doing so good a couple of yesterday, but can you all see and hear me clear? I want to get clarity because yesterday this router in this house was not good. Could someone tell me? Okay. Thumbs up to anyone? I mean to everyone that they can see and hear me clearly? Because I can see myself pretty clear. But that doesn't mean anything. Are you all still here? Can I get a thumbs up if you're still okay, good. It's not that many, but still, I'm so appreciative. Questions. What do you guys? Oh, let me look for this channel too while you're talking. What questions do you have? Okay, good. You're still there. Good. Yes, because I am here to answer questions too. What is that in the background over here? Oh, all this stuff in the background on the junk. Uh, let's see. Where is this lady? And la 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 la. So, okay, I'll look at my subscription. Good. I'm glad y'all are still here. So let me see. Since you don't have questions, let me look at my list while I'm looking for this lady. Too. Oh yeah, this was called. What is her name? Oh yeah, it's called Wholesale Ted, and it's this lady right here. I don't know if you can see her. She has so much information on like this. See, the new way to make money with Canva, like all kinds of stuff. Like, and a lot of them, you think that they're just talking. Like this one earned it really a lot of them work. I mean, there was maybe one or two that wasn't for me, but she has so many ways to make money online, and people don't realize that you can just go online and it's like YouTube University, as they say. Let me see the name. Her name is, I watch her a lot. Wholesale. Yeah, on YouTube, and she's on YouTube. Where is she's on? Okay, so I put that in there. So look her up on YouTube. Wholesale. It's a female, and she has so many resources for all kinds of online work. To ones that make lots of money, some that just very passive. If you just want to add something extra, she has that. And then there was another lady, Caribbean lady, because I loved her accent and subscriptions. Let's see if I can find her. Where is she? She always has good stuff too. Oh yeah, this lady. I tried this thing with her. It was like a copy and paste thing, something you do on the side. It worked, but I didn't have enough time for it. But I don't know if have you any of you guys seen her before? Let's see. Can you see? I've used her before. Her stuff that she's so it's just so much. I show you that just to let you know, like a lot of people know that it's not even if you have a family and you want to move abroad, you can move with your family. There's just so many that I met, abroad that were Americans that came with their family and living abroad, not in the typical places you would think, like Germany and France and all of that. I met a family in when I was in Georgia, in Batumi, the country, of course, and the whole family were together, and they were an African American family, like African American, and they were in. I met them in Georgia, walking down the street, and now they're in Albania. Yeah, and so you find these other countries that you're told that are third world like, and they're nothing like that. You're so surprised. A lot of them look better than than the United States in the United States. No, no, no. What does the no mean? Uh, where the JoJo? Leader JoJo? Yeah. What do you mean no? What are you saying no for? I'm talking so fast I might have missed it. Mm, that water's good. But okay, since no one has questions for me, I'm gonna I'll talk about some questions I already have down here. La la la. You all know my story, right? Yes or no? You know that I came from California and left for the first time abroad, 2015, solo. I didn't know anyone. I went straight to Paris. I didn't speak French. I only knew a few words, but I didn't care. I just wanted to get out. And that's how it all started. Once I got abroad for the first time, I was like, oh my God, I haven't seen it here before. You haven't seen what there before? Me? Here? Or what haven't you seen, if you don't mind me asking? You haven't, okay. So you have to retype it. Yeah. Okay. So while you let's see what. Okay. So who is? Well, I already know that Casey is already abroad. So she's living her best life and from New York, right? And living her best life in Mexico. And a lot of people have different opinions about Mexico because it's so close to the US. They don't realize it's still different. It's still a different culture. Uh, you know, it's still a work life balance is better there than the United States. It's so many differences, and what makes it strange to some Americans, because what's happening in the US when they're saying, oh, we're going to deport all these different foreigners from Mexico or immigrants from Mexico and have them go back to their country, as if that's a bad thing. Mexico is Mexico, especially Mexico City and all these other beautiful places in Mexico. They're okay, they're doing fine, but it's the propaganda that America does. They're very good at making other countries seem like they're the worst and ours is the best, when the infrastructure in the United States is old as the United States. That's why, oh yeah, I'm thinking about my home state of California, the horrible fires that's going on right now. Perfectly fine over here in Mexico. Yep, perfectly fine. Yeah. And my prayers and thoughts are going to my family and friends that are in Southern California. They're not affected by the fires right now because they don't live that close to the valley and those areas, but those fires came lower than they ever come before. And to not have the infrastructure to be prepared for something like that happens every year, every time they should be prepared, but they never were because the infrastructure is not important to America or to the politicians and the owners, I say, of America, which is billionaires. And it's because it's corporate America. It's not for the people. And we're having these problems with these huge fires. And I'm not trying to politicize this live, but I'm giving you a good example of how important infrastructure and updating your infrastructures compared to European countries. And I mention European because that's where I've been living. I haven't lived in the Asian countries, so I can't include them. So I don't know what their infrastructure is like. But as far as European countries, it's a whole different ball game. They always updating. We was say the YouTube link that you shared a few minutes ago. Oh, okay, good, okay. That's okay. So that's where you found me from. Okay. Well, good. Oh, I like that. Okay. Welcome to everyone again. So yeah, so as far as those fires, they had many years to put sprinklers under the ground because California doesn't get that much rain, especially Southern California. It doesn't get a lot of rain. It's just, I mean, there's a song made that says that it never rains in Southern Cal. That song was there for a reason. It don't rain. So to not invest in your infrastructure, knowing that there's a disaster that's going to happen every year, they're going to lose their homes and lives sometimes, and that shows you what's the priority in the United States. But yet they'll go crazy if you think about banning guns, and go crazy if you want to have universal health care and you want to change that. You want that to be available. Oh no, they can't give you that, and they can't give you a clean and update infrastructure either. So those are the things that are important to think about when you are, spending your life in the U.S. And for me, uh, my last years, I want them to be quality. I don't want to be stressing out about stuff like this. And it's sad bringing up the fires to add is that it shows you the lack of what's a priority, because something as easy as sprinkler systems under the ground that could be there whenever the land gets dry, which it does every year, super dry. You moisture it just like anything else. The sprinkler system goes off, and that prevents from when those bushes start brushing against each other because they're dry. That's how the fire starts. It, like I said, it happens all the time. So they should have been prepared for it, but they weren't. They know it, but it's not a priority because everything else is more important than citizens, it seems. And I'm not saying it was always like that because I don't think it has been. Growing up wasn't, I don't remember it being this bad and this selfish. But anyway, infrastructure in Europe, I've never, when I came, the last time I was home, because I had been abroad for so long, I hadn't realized how bad our roads are, and we pay taxes for that because in Europe, like you don't see cracked roads. You may see cobblestone streets, which are beautiful, but on the highway, you don't see like the cracks and the bumps and the potholes. It's rare. You rarely see that. So when I'd been away for so long, and then when I went home, and these potholes, the way the streets look, even in nice neighborhoods, you still have cracks all over the streets and roads. It's crazy. Okay, any more questions? Okay, let me see what else I can talk about. I said and then as far as I said, I was going to talk about visa and residency. Um, it's a good that Casey is here because she's in Mexico. She's had residency there for a long time. She's doing fine. It's not hard to get. I lived in Poland for for a while because one of the companies, Cambridge, is actually based in Poland, and I had a work visa through Poland. It wasn't hard to get because I was working for their company, and then you can turn that into a residency if you like. It's really not hard if you find once you decide what country and city you want to live in. As Americans, we have a really nice privilege in Europe of being Americans because they do like that. They like the fact that we are known as optimistic, hard workers, we are innovators, and they you that's a leg up for you. And it has nothing to do with your race, what color you are. We're all Americans the way they see us is in our accent, they can tell. But yeah, it's not like in the US where everything is tied to your race. Everything is, you fill out forms and you have to say what race you are. You don't have that issue here. You're American, or you're either from Germany, you're German, or it doesn't matter about what color you are. It's about the country you come from. So that is refreshing when you also live abroad. Also, living abroad made it easier, besides visa, residency, and all that kind of stuff, finding places to live. Let's talk about that. Most countries, their apartments, you don't have to, like in the US, everything is tied to your credit. You have to have a credit score of this. You have to have good credit. You have to have, a credit card to a certain degree and have kept up, the credit on that to have that score. That don't exist here, with the exception of the UK, because they're similar to the USA. When I say Europe, I exclude the UK, because, first of all, they're not in the EU anymore anyway. But even though they're in Europe, they're more like American than anything else. So I don't include them. Some people love the UK. It's still better than the US with regard to the healthcare and things like that. But they have the same culture, except they have a different accent and they're over here. But let's get that straight. There's still a lot of Americans who do go to UK, and a lot of them go there because it's comfortable. They don't have to learn another language. I'm so happy to see you. You're considering. Yay! Yes, Poland is up. It's number one right now. It's two in the running. I'm only in Portugal because I came here. I wanted to be in a warmer country during the holidays, and I was here meeting a friend. But yeah, Poland is. I'm heading back to Poland or the Czech Republic next month. So, but most likely it would probably be Poland. You see me smiling. I love Poland. I want to talk about Poland too. With I'm in the USA. Oh, I'm sorry. You're in the USA. Have you been home though to Poland in a while, or no? Because it's I have a friend that also was from as Polish, but she was raised in the USA, and she followed me to my travels and on the YouTube and my photos and Instagram, and she didn't know Poland was because her family immigrated from there during World War II, and so she was born there, so she never really went home. Uh, and not, oh my God, but you were born, money issues, but you were born in Poland. If you haven't gone in decades, it you're not going to want to come back. You're going to go to Poland and not come back because it runs circles around the US, a lot of states in the USA, infrastructure. And then Polish people are making better money now. They're more educated with more than a lot of the Western European countries. I can talk some more about that so much. It's beautiful, beautiful, clean cities all through Poland. Uh, they're just modernized. My bank is in Poland. I bank with through with my Polish bank. It's just easy. Yeah, you got to go back. You okay? Good. You see photos anyway. And so if you on YouTube or even my Instagram is full of Polish photos and videos and whatnot. Yeah. So I love Poland, and that's another. I'm gonna do another video on just Poland again and about why I chose it and why it was competing with the Czech Republic, because I think the cultures are similar. But as I was saying, have a friend also. She was born in the U.S., but her family is Polish, and they came to the U.S. In Chicago, because there's a huge Polish community in Chicago, and she had never been to Poland. Just heard the horror stories of what it used to be during what happened in World War II. After that, and communism and all that kind of stuff. So people still have this view of what Poland is like, or what they think it's like. And so this friend I have, she decided to come visit Poland, even though her family now they all live in the U.S. and they hadn't been to Poland in years. But she was following my videos, so she saw what it looks like. Long story short, because she's young, she's like in her late 20s, and she lives there now. And her parents were like, "What? You're moving to Poland?" And we left there for. But now they understand. It's a total different place. It's just amazing, and she lives there now too. So she moved there from watching videos and doing all that stuff, and it's just a better quality of life. She works there. She's doing good, and we still are friends. So that story. But you can find so many ways to thrive and grow. And I'm saying Europe because that's where I've lived, that's where I've been, but I'm sure in Asia as well, Southeast Asia, I have a lot of travelers I meet that live there as well. They have a better quality of life. One of my bestest friends, she's there in Thailand, loves it as well. So I just don't have the experience, so I can't really talk about it. But if I did, I would talk about there too. So what other question? Oh yeah, Sophia. Yeah, that's right. I was looking now. I have my glasses are clearer. That's Sophia. Yay! But you definitely need to come back to Poland, even if it's just for a visit. Yes, Casey. Yes, I'm in Poland. I'm in Portugal right now. Yeah, I'm in Faro. I'm up 2 hours away from Lisbon. I was in Lisbon first, and then I came here for Christmas, a little bit before Christmas, and then I came toward to Faro to spend New Year's. I had some friends that were that was kind of celebrating here in the Algarve. And so I came here, and I'm here now, and I'll be going back to Poland, or I'm supposed to keep that a secret, Poland or Prague, next month. Yeah, and but Portugal's a good place too. It was on my list of places to live, but you. Oh, I look crooked. Okay, hold on. But because you do have to know thyself. You see, I have a question, but it's a weird question, but I'm scared. Oh no, don't feel scared to ask questions. Ask it anyway. I will answer all questions, even if you think they're weird, because they probably won't be. Because it's about moving abroad or any question. Yeah, I'm open. So ask. Yeah. But while you're typing your question, because we're all family here. No, while you're typing your question in, I will say the reason why for me Portugal is not my forever home is because it's too slow. Know thyself. Okay, I saw the woman's YouTube video. It was a very interesting video. When I looked at some of the comments, that was really made me mad. You mean like mean racist comments and stuff like that? Is that what you're talking about? If do I worry about that? Have I gotten a question? Oh no, that's the first one. Is that what your questions was more like? If I get any mean racist comments in my comment section regarding travel, because I've let's see, for people who's disabled. Oh, good question. What do you recommend for people who are disabled and unable to work but want to leave the country? That's why it's really made me mad, because there was a lot of people who want to leave. Oh, okay. Yes. Oh, I know. I wanted to find out, did you say those people, because it made me cry. Get people who were mentally disabled want to leave. Oh, yeah. I actually met, I was in Vienna, I was in Vienna and I met a disabled and someone who also left because they had mental issues because of the mental trauma because of the stuff they went through in the U.S. So it don't ever let that think you can't leave because there's so many. It's actually so many programs and healthcare being free. If you know more like I say free because it basically is compared to ours. If you don't have insurance, there's hello, hi. Oh yeah, nice to see you. We haven't someone else joined. I'm happy. But anyway, yes, don't feel like you can't leave because you have some disabilities. Because I feel safer in countries that have universal health care than I would in the US. Because there's a lot of the countries that cater to people who are disabled, even mental issues where you feel like you're struggling mentally and you need some type of mental help or mental some I don't know how the word you call for that, but the social system and as far as the healthcare, it's so much easier to deal with that someone who has a disability is better off in being in countries where they have universal health care. So no, don't let that and you know Googling the countries. Let's see. Don't need. Yeah, definitely. Let me make sure I'm charging. Yeah. First of all, you don't need to worry about that part. As far as the healthcare system, because if you need it, you go get it. If you have some emotional stuff you need to deal with, there's psychiatrists, therapists, and all that. It's part of the universal healthcare in most of these European countries. You know, yeah, and because I'm in the same boat as them, and I feel good to meet other people of different race. Yeah, it's you. That's you shouldn't let that. I guess I understand because the U.S. puts a lot of fear in us, about other countries because we are told that we're the best. Our countries are the best, and so we don't have that experience with knowing that we're the only one in the westernized world, and even some that's third world have universal health care, but we're basically the only. I think it's only two in the world that don't have universal health care for its citizens. So, being somewhere else, that was one of the motivators for me too, because as I get older, I don't want to be worrying about spending my money on, even if you do have insurance through your company, which I did, you still are paying out of pocket. We get nothing free, and I'm healthy. I've never used the hospital. So just say, $300 every 2 weeks coming out of my paycheck for many years just to have health care coverage and never used it. That's like thousands of dollars out the window. Uh, and I never got used to it, use of it. And when I did have my physicals, of course, my checkups, you still got to pay. You have to go into the hospital. You go to your doctor's appointment, you got a $40 or $50 copay. You know, even if you have some type of surgery, you still got to pay some for that. But you're paying. It doesn't happen like that in Europe. If it's universal, it's universal. They are so shocked when they find out that most Americans won't even call the ambulance because that's $5,000 a pop just to get to the hospital if you don't have insurance, and you can go bankrupt without going to the doctors in the United States. That's insane to think about. I'm planning a trip to Nice, France. Oh, okay, good. At the end of May, maybe we can meet there and somewhere. Yeah. Should I will okay, DM me. Yeah, because I would definitely or yeah, for Nice would be good because if I end up in even Poland or the Czech Republic as my base, all that's near. Because remember, I was going to Strasbourg was on my list of where I would list, and that's in France. But I changed, but definitely, yeah, let's meet up in France because I'm always there. I still have friends. And yeah, you remember I was Strasbourg was on the list, but when you make your list of places, that you think you can live or you want to live, that's why I say it's best to go there and live for a couple of months if you can. And I did that. And I found that even though I love France, and and it's still on the list. It's just these cities that I chose. Uh, it came off my list because it was, like I said, because I'm an entrepreneur and I still like to have my own businesses, and I'm still quite social when it comes to business and things like that, and growing my finances and all of that. I was off the list because this city was just too also low key. Finding entrepreneurs and having a connection in Strasbourg. They're more about having their wine and cheese and sitting at a cafe, which is fine too. But I need more than that. I need a community that's kind of, progressive, doing what I'm doing. I love being an entrepreneur. I love being able to get out and share with others. And some countries are not like that. Italy is the same. They're about chill, 100% chill. You work and that's fine. And I like to find a balance between, chilling, but at the same time, loving to be able to do what I enjoy, which is being an entrepreneur, growing my finances so I can be able to travel and live a good life and give back. I understand your reason. Yeah, yeah. It's true. And I loved when I was in Strasbourg because I was there for 2 months, I think. I loved it there. But I felt that I was getting, for me, lazy. I stopped making my ebooks. I stopped, doing YouTube even. I was just on total chill mode, you know. And I always repeat this: know thyself. I can't make myself be a chill person where I'm 100% doing nothing. Because you can get away with, as opposed to having your job and then going home and then kicking it and having wine and cheese. That sounds amazing. And I can do that maybe 10 years from now. but I like a more, you said, Parisian lifestyle. Yes, I'm serious. So yeah, it's like I like the Parisian lifestyle is like that. They know how to chill. And so I found that it's interesting how a lot of the um, let's Baltic or the Eastern European countries, they have a better balance for me with that, where they can chill, because they know how to chill, but at the same time they have these innovative entrepreneur spirits. They got innovation happening. The digital nomad world is there. You can still do all that kind of stuff and chill at the same time. Have you ever been to Panama? No, I haven't. But I hear that it's a huge expat community in Panama. What do you know about Panama? Is that somewhere you've been thinking about? Yeah, because Panama, I see a lot that, and plus it's close to the US, and the people who have ties, let me get this light, still strong ties to the US, and they can't just be so far away. Uh, wouldn't Panama be a better choice? Is that one of the reasons why? I'm fixing the lighting really. Let's see. Man, I left my ring light. I knew I was going to need it, but I hadn't done lives in so long. I didn't think I would need it, but apparently I do. Now, tell me about Panama. If you could just type a few words, if do you like the, have you been? And if there's a good quality of life for expats or digital nomads. Okay, that's a little better. Yeah, because I'm open to all kinds of different places. I just feel like even as a child, I always felt like I had more like a European. Uh, I was more drawn to the European lifestyle because I don't know how, I just felt more. Even when I first came to Europe, it didn't scare me. I felt comfortable. In the U.S., I guess I used to be called weird because even when I would eat breakfast, I would eat croissants instead of real breakfast. I just wanted bread and butter. you know, I kind of ate like the Europeans would eat no breakfast. I'm not a breakfast person. In Europe, they're not breakfast people. So it fit me. I didn't feel weird for not eating breakfast, even though I like it. But I would eat breakfast at night. I'm not a breakfast person really. And so a lot of little things other than that. Let's see. A lot of people said they liked it there. Yeah, I haven't heard any bad stories about it. I like places like that. The weather, I guess, for the warm weather. But I found that I like the seasons. You know, I like the seasons now. Coming from California, where we don't have seasons, only two. If we get rain, so sunshine and maybe rain. Okay, to be two. That European blood background. Oh, probably. Yeah. Oh, Albania. Oh, yes. Now, I was supposed to go to Albania before I came here to Portugal, but I couldn't fly. I couldn't find a good flight leaving. I was in the Czech Republic at the time. But yeah, those are the told you. I was telling the live earlier. I have friends there. Okay, me too. The European blah, 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 blah. Okay, I love croissants. Oh my god, with some grapes and pineapple juice. That's good. I like that. Yes, croissants in the morning, something light with some espresso. That's me. Even as a teenager, I was drinking espresso because I like my coffee black. So espresso was amazing. Let's see what else. I saw where some people said they liked it. Yeah, yeah. I haven't heard anyone who say they didn't like Panama. I told myself I was gonna YouTube it, but wait. Yes, because of my friend said she like. Did you say Albania or Australia? Oh, Albania was up there. Yeah, Australia. The only thing Australia is like on the other side of the world, but and then Australia is you just have to. That's another place you have to visit. I haven't been, so I can't give my opinion on it. But I do have some people who don't like it. They get there. Some Americans say it's too expensive, and then some who love it. So I have to go there for myself and see. But because it's so far away, I have to really plan for that. And Australia is not cheap either. So, you have to really prepare for going somewhere like Australia. But yeah, Panama. I've been seeing a lot about Panama, a lot about where else? Like places that I've been seeing Montenegro, even though I know that's not not near Panama, but these little places every now, little nuggets in my ear. These some of these countries, they're like telling me go here, and because they're not Europe, because most of I've been in Europe, and a lot of people are telling me to try other places, which I will. But like I said, I'm kind of I always felt like I was a European girl. I was supposed to be born in Europe. That's what I. That's how I feel. Just because we were born in one country doesn't mean that's where we should stay. We're not trees, you know. We can get up and go. Our roots may be there, but they're not. We're not like a tree where they're planted. You can go where you want, and go back home if you want to. All seasons are beautiful. I was born and raised in Ohio. Oh yeah, yeah. So you grew up in Ohio with some seasons, and I like having winter and the spring and fall, which is my favorite. And what I mean, summer. I love when those times are changing because I didn't grow up with that like you did. So uh, that living in California that you're not going to get those seasons. And a lot of people don't care, because some people are just not winter people or whatever, and they move to California for those reasons. But no, I love winter, and if it's cold or snowing, I like that now. Having a scarf around my neck and a coat, I like it, long as it's not crazy. And let's see, Monterey seems very relaxed with a. Yes, I also have a friend that was there. She ended up leaving, but she was in Montenegro with her child for a long time. I had someone who didn't like it either. Yeah, folks that say they were. Yeah, that's what I heard about Australia, that they're very racist yeah, especially toward African Americans because they have the same kind of crazy history they're not called Aboriginals anymore, but with the Aboriginals and so I had And when I think about it, the majority of the people who said they did like Australia, uh, no, with the exception to one Black American, they were not they were not Black Americans, so they had a different experience than someone who is of color. But the ones I did meet, that with the exception of one, because I met him in a Facebook group that had you know living there, and I was thinking about going to visit, and then the majority of the comments were not good. So let's be honest, that's probably why it's not a priority on my list, because I'm not in the habit of being abused, not physically, but I'm not in the mood for that. I lived in America long enough to deal with the, you know, the microaggressions. I'm not for that anymore. Fall, spring are my favorite. Oh, I know. Fall and spring are my favorite too, because they're the most beautiful. You see everything changing during those two seasons, and I never got a chance to experience much of that. We get a little bit of the fall, with the colors, but not the true fall. I'm sorry, this light keeps falling. Maybe I'll get it right one day. I think that'll do. Yeah, so I'm appreciating. And when I was in Poland, that was everybody always were like, "Oh, it's so cold in Poland." I have my best times in Poland because they do have all the seasons. I've been told that it doesn't get as cold as it used to, but it still gets cold. And some of the places I was living at, snow coming down, white and clean, and then just the Christmas markets and the way they just love their city where it's so beautiful and clean. And so when the snow comes down all white, it stays white, unlike in Chicago or somewhere like that, where it's so dirty on the grounds. The once it's down there, it turns into smush and mush, and it looks ugly. Because whenever I would visit my uncle in Chicago, it would be in the winter, and I loved it snow, but only for the first 5 minutes, because after that it turns to brown slush. It doesn't do that here because the streets are clean. It comes down and it stays white and pretty. You guys see my photos where it just stays white? That don't happen too much in the U.S. Okay, let me read. I have that too. Yeah, yeah, you heard that too. Yeah, yeah. That's why Australia is not on my list like that. But I must visit just for myself, just to see. But it's not a place I know I would want to live, at all. I know it's too much like the US when it comes to the culture, work culture, expensive, stuff like that. I would never want to live there, but I would love to visit just to see for myself. Yeah. But yeah, and the stories that they tell about it being, racist too and having some issues, yeah, it's not a good reason for me to want to go. No, to go anytime soon. I need to find my forever home first here in Europe, and get my place. And oh, that's what I was talking about. We were talking about homes and apartments, and I like this. Oh yeah, me too. Fall, you got the fall, you have spring, and wait, what am I thinking? A winter, summer, summer. What are we? What order again? Now I'm sounding a little dingy. So we have fall, and then we have no, let's go with summer, right? And then there's winter or fall, and then there's spring, and then there's fall. But anyway, yeah, love. Now, but as I was talking about accommodations, let's talk about that. And some people may fear that you actually have a better, it's just an easier process living abroad, living in Europe, because, like I said, we have the credit. You need the credit. You need to have your first and last month, and then a deposit. And then you can't get it if your credit score is not a certain level. And then you have to have some credit, because now I don't have credit because I don't owe anything in the United States. And so I don't owe anyone I don't have debt. And that's normally good everywhere else around the world, but it's not good in the United States. You need some type of credit, paying some type of credit card every month or things like that, which I don't have. I have all my things are here abroad now. And so I don't owe any credit card companies. I don't really want to. I closed my. Only thing I do have is one American Express that's closed, but I can open it if I wanted to. But that's the one you pay off immediately. But anything else, I'm not tied that way. But so I wouldn't get an apartment even if I had money. Well, I do. I don't mean it like that. Even if I was rich, because you can have a whole lot of money, but if your credit score is not good or you whatever, you don't meet their criteria, you can't get an apartment. That's why homelessness is so bad in the U.S. because they base it on credit. They don't base it on the actual job you have, if you have the money in the bank. Whereas here, all you need is a job. It's show that you have a job, and normally it's not a whole big process for that. They just want to see your bank statement and what you have, and credit is not involved in any of that. They don't do that, with except for, like I said, UK. I think they do. Nowhere else is that a thing in Europe. You just fill out online application, or you meet with the owners. You pay, usually you pay the first month rent and a deposit, and that's it. And some places I've lived, I only paid the move in. Majority apartments, regardless of where they are, nice in nice areas, or most areas to me in Europe are nice, are the most expensive area. They're all 80, I would say 90% are furnished, unless you're buying a house or a townhome or something like that. That's one of the newer properties. They'll be empty, or if someone's selling it and and they are renting it out to you because they're going to sell it, then it would be empty. But no, most apartments are furnished, and the ones in Poland, I love apartments in Poland because they're very good with furnishing, and it's like modernized and very nice. So you just move in, refrigerator, your forks and spoons in some places are already there. And of course you can bring your own that kind of stuff, but some have that, like Airbnbs, but they're not. They're apartments. Most apartments come furnished in Europe. So you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about getting a reference or credit score. Your admittance is your bank. Having enough money in your bank and paying for the first rent, and the deposit, and that's what matters. And that's most places in Europe. I think in Vienna, I think that was the only place where I heard that they still don't do credit reports, but that was the only place where I heard they wanted first month and last month and a deposit, like three things like the US. But that was the only place, and it was only country that I've heard of it. But it was not so many places that even did that. I had only ran into that one time. They sure don't. They base it on your yeah. In the US, they base everything on your credit. Yeah. You can have money, and a lot of money in the bank. Yeah, I know that for sure. I didn't even realize how bad that was, because when I came back home for a short time and I was going to, work for a bit and save up some money and then come back to Europe, I said, okay, let me work for a little bit, save some money, and then come back. And I had already sold my car, my main car, and so I bought a little used one at the what do you call those, an auction. And so, I said, okay, I'm going to rent an apartment really quick somewhere near the little quick job I had gotten. This was in 2017, I think, when I came back quickly. And I said, I'm going to work for a year, maybe not so long, maybe 10 months. And so came back, bought this car from an auction, just so I can get around. I gotten this job back in television, but it was like a, easy job I can do. And then I said, okay, I needed to rent somewhere temporary near where I was working, which was near the studios. And everywhere I went, I got turned down. And I had a job, I had money in the bank, I had a car to get there. And because I had no credit, I had my credit, everything was paid off. I didn't have credit cards anymore. I had my bank a debit. Having a debit card is considered bad in the US, where here, everyone has a debit card. You don't, their credit card is not a thing here. You pay with your debit. You're like, and they have the little tap machine. Debit is it. The money comes out and it's gone. They don't they don't do credit like that unless you're buying a home or using it for business. They don't use credit cards for everyday use. You use a debit. So you got it in there, you take it out. You don't. There's no need to have credit with it, for it. So when I came back, I didn't have any credit cards anymore. So I didn't have a high score because I hadn't been using my credit. I didn't have a bad score either. So that doesn't matter. You have to have credit. And so everyone kept turning me down. And they were like, in a lot of these, companies I was applying for, you apply online and you put your social security number in and they'll give you credit score right away. And so you sometimes wouldn't even get turned down by a person. It would be the computer telling you that you don't qualify or you didn't get the apartment. Your credit score, your credit wasn't high enough. Yeah. So it's not about the money. It's about a score. You are a score in America also. So those were the things too that frustrated me and that I was faced with that you don't really think about when you are living in the U.S. and you've never lived in any other country. So you don't have anything to compare it with. Yeah, so I was really shocked, and it took me a while to get an apartment, and I still didn't get it the natural way. I got it through an owner who was renting out her back cottage and near in the valley, right where the fires are happening now. She was over there, and she rented out her cottage to me, and because she had met me in person, and then she heard my story, and then she saw my passport, and she was like, "It's crazy." She saw my passport. My passport was full of all these places I've been, and that's what convinced her to rent to me. Can you believe that? Let's see. So opening a bank account overseas, no, not difficult for an American. No, no. I opened my bank account. I have two bank accounts. See, good questions. I have two bank accounts. I have my American one, which I never use because of the fees. I opened up a bank account in Georgia, the country, with my passport. That's it. And all I need to do is put €1 in there to open it up. Of course, I put money, and it took me 10 minutes. I went inside. I gave them my passport. I gave them my money. They're so modernized. They printed my two cards. You get two credit cards, two debit cards. One that you use for your savings, and one for your checking. And they all are contactless cards, so you can use them anyway. Yeah. Oh, yes, for Georgia. Yes. So I have a Georgia bank. I have a bank in Georgia, and then I have a bank in Poland. I have Millennial Bank. And so I don't really need the U.S. bank, so I don't get charged fees now because I have Millennial, which is a bank in Poland. I went in. I had that bank since 2018. I walked into the bank with my Polish friend because I thought I was going to need them. I didn't. Passport and money, and opened up the account. Same thing. 15, 20 minutes, I was out of there. And I've had Millennial. Well, I have Millennial since 2018, and I've had TBC, which is Tbilisi Bank, in Georgia since 2021. Yeah, since COVID. Yeah, after COVID, 2021. No issues. Yeah. So it's a lot of countries like that. There's some countries like France that makes it a little harder, but it's not because you're a foreigner. It's just because they're hard. They do that to each other. They're hard for each other to open up. They love paperwork and stuff like that. But no, that's a good question. So I've had both my bank accounts for a while, haven't had any issues. It's actually made life a little easier for me because I don't have to worry about having my card being blocked, which happens all the time with Bank of America. I would be traveling from country to country, and because our banks are so archaic when it comes to international travel, they don't know that they know it, but they haven't because who programs your computers in your country are humans, right? So if these programmers have never lived abroad, they don't know what it's like to do banking internationally. They leave out a lot of things, and they don't know a lot of things. So they don't know that you can be in France 3 hours. You can be in France one moment, and then 3 hours later you can be in Germany. And or from Germany, there you can go to France 2 hours later. So if you don't know this, and you're in a banker, and you set up the systems, but you never travel, you don't set up the systems to realize that there you can be in these different countries at the same time. So it's not fraud when you're using your bank in Germany for 3 hours, and 3 hours later you're in France using your bank. And so in the US, it puts a fraud alert on there, because it looks like someone stole your card and went from country to country using it. And so it blocks you, and it blocks your card without even asking you, or without even notifying you, is this you? Even when I used to tell them in the bank when I would leave, or on the phone, I would say, could you put a travel alert on my account? And oh, sure, we can put a travel. That's all words. They're lying. They don't even know how to do that, because every time I would leave a country, and immediately, really quickly, if I used my card and went to another country quickly, it won't block my card. And it takes days to unblock it. And I had to deal with that a lot. And, a lot of stuff, if I wasn't strong and faithful, and, not a scary person, that would scare a lot of people, and send them back to the US, because it blocks you. And if that's your card where all your money is at, you're shit out. No, I shouldn't say you're, I don't curse, you're, out of luck. But being in Europe, where people are more not accepting, where they're more trusting, unlike Americans' culture, where everybody thinks they're out to get you. You're out to get them. And if you tell them, somebody stole you and your card is blocked, can I stay here until 5 days until it's unblocked? In America, they'd be like, no, you got to go. I'm just being honest. That's true. In Europe, they are not like I've never, when that happened, no one ever told me no. When I said, this is what happened. You see, I've been paying before. Now I'm blocked and da 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 da. Oh, no, no, no. It's okay. You can stay, they're not going to kick you. I've never been kicked out or denied something because this block happened on my card in Europe. But if that was to happen in the US, everybody is so untrust. They don't trust you because of culturally, what it is, what US is like. Most people will say, no, I'm not gonna let you stay in this hotel one more day. You gotta go. You can't stay here, even if you paid for weeks. And that's only happened one time, they still will kick you out. But not here in Europe. They're just more forgiving when it comes to that kind of stuff. And so whenever that happened, I always was in a place where someone was like just saying, oh, no, no, we understand. You know, I think it happened when I was at a restaurant one time, and I told him I would bring the money back, and da da da. He was like, no, no, when you get it done, just come. When it gets unblocked, just come and bring, and no big issue. I left the restaurant and I came back to give them the money and everything. They didn't even remember. And I was like, no, I was sitting at that table, and it was an older man here who worked here. And it was like, yeah, okay, whatever. But yeah, it's true. I feel people are just more kinder and more, maybe it's, culturally because of, what a lot of people have gone through in the countries, and just culturally, just different people. Americans are more cutthroat. I'm not saying all, cutthroat, what do you call that? Suspicious, um, uh, more phony. It's true. They'll be like, yeah, I'm your friend. I'm smiling. And no, not truthful. That type of culture, not all, is tend to be what American culture is like. So being that they're so suspicious and untrustful, don't trust much, it's hard if something happens to you for them to believe you if it's truthful, because the untrusting nature of some Americans. So I felt that I was, when that happened, and it happened more than one time in different countries, and the same results. No one made a big deal about that. What are the absolute perfect travel story? What's an absolute perfect travel story? That's a broad question. Because for me, the best absolute travel story would be travel with an open mind and not thinking people are, because we have traumas from the US because we get judged all the time there and just on face value. And I say the absolute perfect travel story is to travel, and I think that's what is, I've been doing. Travel as just as a human. Don't think of yourself as an African American or an American per se. Just think of yourself as a traveler and carry yourself that way. So my absolute story, best travel story is that when I travel, and this is true, saying what you explained about paying a later, it's like that. That's why I said that's culture though, because each time that happened, it happened maybe 5 times. And each time that happened, I was in a different country and the outcome was the same. I was in Italy one time when that happened in Rome, and I was staying in a hotel apartment. It was, and the owners lived at the bottom one, and they also worked there. And it happened, and I had already been living there for like maybe a month, and it happened because I had left Rome to go to where did I go? That was near I think it was another country, but very near to Italy. I can't think where I went. Was it Germany? No, it wasn't Germany. No, it was France. It was France. So I left quickly to go to France, and then I came back. And because I left the country right away and came right back, it looks like fraud. So they put a block, and I was staying in this place I had been in a month, and then it happened. It was time for me to pay. It was blocked, and I told them, and she was like, when it gets unblocked, fine. you know, give me come down and pay, because I was living on the top floor. Same thing, it's like I was in Italy, and that happened before when I was in Croatia, and this is the same outcome. And because they don't have this suspicious nature, especially if you show them evidence of who you are. But you don't get that in the US. They can have a perfect record that you've had with them, and you have one slip up, no trust, you're out of there. It's not a good way to be towards people. I was saying the story that you explained was a good story. Oh, okay. Okay. Okay, I thought you were saying that what is a good. I'm sorry. Sorry for my misunderstanding. But yeah, that is an actual very good story. And it's also a test for the type of culture that is here. Because it's not just one country I experienced that in, it was multiple. And the outcome was the same. And so I that makes you feel even more comfortable too when you're living abroad. So it's really about you, and not going through countries with some preconceived notion that they're not going to like you because of what we experienced in the U.S. Is that they have a whole different what do you call that, context of us. We're, like I said, we're Americans first, and then they think about your culture, like what you've done and the type of music that they like, that comes from your country, and all that kind of stuff. It's not based on your race. Their racism does exist, of course. We're going to touching on that for a moment in Europe, but it's different. It's not about color. It's about country. So you may have some countries that don't want people from other countries coming to their country because they may dry up their social system and the resources that they have, they that are so good. So you may get, the racism is basically on countries that you come from. A lot of people want to keep their culture. They don't want to have these immigrants coming from different countries and not assimilating into their culture and only taking. So it's that kind of thing. And so you don't it's a different type of feeling at ease in Europe. Yeah. hmm it's very that's why it's really so hard to go home, because the last time I was home, I had been abroad, because let's talk about safety. It's just so safe, and there's no gun issues, and people, humans are different here too when it comes to that. Not saying that everybody is not dangerous. It's just when you have a culture where it's not abundant, where everyone has a gun, there's a streak of violence in the family, or there's people who are mentally ill because they can't get a medication for their mental illness. So then you have that. So that's a lot of the problem in the U.S. So you have crazy people doing mass shootings because they're crazy because they're not on meds, because they can't afford meds, because the healthcare is not available. So it's that kind of thing. So America has a bunch of people in these countries, I mean, in these states or just in the USA, that are sick, and a lot of them are sick because they can't get health care. They can't get the help they need. And then you have people who are crazy because they're entitled. This entitlement thing. It's just a mixture of bad stuff with our country because of his history and the historic factors. And so when I go home, those traumas come back up, because even if I live, which I did, I had a good life. It wasn't bad or anything like that, but a good life is still uh, it is what it is. You still have to watch yourself at night, late at night. You can't just walk out. Like here, I could go anywhere at midnight, and most likely, and nothing's going to happen. There's no one going to be out, and even if they are, my guard is not up like that, because I know for the most part, there's no one lurking around with a gun or that kind of stuff. And that's violence is not like that. So let's see, feeling at ease. Yeah, it's just, and then so when I go home, my guard is up again. Sometimes it's not, because you forget, and then I'm home for a while and I realize, oh shit, I have to be. You don't realize how much you're on guard until you leave it, and and that freedom that you have abroad to just walk anywhere and not worry, not have your back when you're in an enclosed space and wondering if it's a crazy person with a gun somewhere. You don't have to worry about that. I mean, I know there's small incidents, but it's not a thing. It's not something that's happens usually. So it's, if those types of things, someone with a gun, or like the story that happened where there's a guy that ran his car in the Christmas markets in Germany. Those incidences are rare, and that person was, also connected to some political stuff. But it's rare, and it's all over the news all day for like months. No, I'm kidding, because it's so rare. Those things happen, and when they do happen, they do tend to be in places like Germany or France, because they do have a little difference. As far as, you may find some places where guns are available, and it's probably out of all the other Western Western European countries, they tend to be the most dangerous of the other ones, and still not on the level to the USA, and it's only in certain cities. So certain cities in France or Germany. But yeah, are we still here? Any more questions? I'm trying to think of. Let's see. Have my water. Mm, finding a travel community. Okay, good. You guys are still here. Yay! Yes. Also, what's good too is that when you're abroad, you'll find that it's a lot of travel communities. There's a lot of people like me out here. Just like I met, right? I met KC abroad, and you end up with lifelong friends. And we may end up going to different countries afterwards, but you have that as your community. Your friends, and they tend to be like-minded because you met abroad. So you're already halfway there when you meet people abroad, because they tend to have the same interest as you, know what you go through. You can help each other when it comes to needing someone to talk to about certain things, because sometimes it does get hard and lonely, and because you miss your home, you miss your family, and that's normal too. And but then that's you get over it. You do get over it because then you realize that when you, for me, once I went back home and I realized, yeah, I'm just kind of nostalgic for the bad food because our food is not good, right? I mean, as far as good for you, but our food is tasty though, even the bad food. So I get nostalgic for uh, Jack in the Box in California. We have Jack in the Box. I get nostalgic for Popeye's chicken, even though they do have a Popeye's chicken in Prague. So that was another reason why it was winning. But I get nostalgic for some of the food that's bad for you, but good. Not McDonald's, because McDonald's abroad is better than it is in the U.S. But I get nostalgic for Mexican food. Yeah, authentic Mexican food, not Taco Bell, and I never eat that. But one's from San Diego, Mexican, my favorite Mexican restaurant in San Diego. I also have one in LA and all that kind of stuff. So I do get nostalgic for my hometown, and then it goes away because then the last time I was home, I tried to stay as healthy as I can and eat well, but I came back 10 pounds heavier and sick. And I was sick the whole time I was there because when you're abroad, that's another thing, your body cleanses of all the chemicals that are in our food. And those chemicals that are in our food in the US is illegal in Europe. You can't have all those chemicals and preservatives. It's illegal in the EU for the drug administration. It's illegal to put in the food so you purge yourself of that when you're here. You no longer have that in your system. So then when you go home for a little bit, uh, your system is kind of virgin again. And all those chemicals and the grease and all that stuff, it doesn't feel good. You start to feel it, and it doesn't even taste the same. Yeah, Prague. Yeah. Prague is amazing. Let's see. When a person is trying to leave you, do they have to have a lot? No, that's a good question. No, they just have to have a plan, and it doesn't even have a big plan. I always say YouTube, as we know, is your best friend. I have information as well, but YouTubing a lot of this. Think about where you want to go, what city, what country, and then think about the accommodations. How much you have. If you have a budget of 700 a month for your accommodations, look at Airbnb first. See how much you can, go see what they have, and usually, if you once you get there and you like the place, you can usually make, like I used to do, I would make a deal with the owner and I would say, I'm going to be here a month or two. Can you give me a discount, or can I pay you directly? And because Airbnb charge them so much fees, they rather you pay them in person. That's what I was doing in Georgia, in Batumi. I was paying the owner in person. So he would come every month and he would pick up the money. So, right, yes, right. I'm ready to leap for it. Yeah, just do it. And all these people, oh, I'm planning in 2 years. That's is don't do that, because all you're doing is setting yourself up for not coming and not going abroad, because 2 years is not going to make a difference than 6 months, because you're still going to go through the same stuff. You're still going to need the same. You may have more money, but then within that 2 years of you planning, something else may happen in the US. You may have to pay off a bill, or you might have a car accident where you have to pay off your car. It's all you're doing is just pushing back. It's an excuse, unless you have a family member or something like that you're taking care of, or something deep. But a lot of people are always saying, I want to get my finances together. It's going to take me 2 years to get my finance. You can get your finances together when you're abroad. Your main goal is to have enough to get abroad, have an online job to sustain you, or enough in your account to be able to, have time to look for it, if you're brave like me, because that's what I did. But if you want to have money in your account, I would say leave with 5,000, knowing that you're going to have, because I know people who've left with less. and especially if you already have an online job lined up or something like that, or you know, have an online job before you leave, teaching English or something like that, and then leave. But what I say, go on Airbnb to the country you want to go to or you want to visit, see what it costs for the. I wouldn't say do the whole month. Like don't pay for the whole month. Pay for the when you get there. Make sure the month is clear, and then pay for 2 weeks. Right, to pay for 2 weeks, and you see what it if that adds up and it's in your budget. You get there, if you like the place, because I never, from experience, book an apartment sight unseen for a month, because you get there, you may not like the area, you may not like the apartment. But at least if you do a week or two, at least you know you can handle somewhere you don't like for 2 weeks. But a month, I don't think so. So I would say do an Airbnb for 2 weeks. You know, if that's your budget, you get there, you look around the city, you connect with someone from an expat group, or me, connect with someone you may know right away and say, I'm in this country. What do you know about it? What do you know about this city? Always join an expat group page in from that country on Facebook, because you it's always great. That's why I found the best connections and people who can help you that's in that country already. People that if you feel like you want to find someone who looks like you, but I don't always say just automatically think it's a country where you need people that look like us, because like I said, Europeans are a little different. You're an American. So, but I can understand that too. So if you want to join groups that says, Black Americans in Vienna, or Americans in da da da, do that, because they help and you can ask questions. Is this area the right area for me? This is what I'm looking for. I found a lot of stuff that way. So no, don't think that you need a lot of money to answer your question. Look at your budget. If you're getting a stipend from some type of retirement or Social Security or whatever, because a lot of these countries are cheaper. And I'm not talking about just thinking about France and Germany and Italy, like the countries I just talked about. Poland, there is super affordable, but it seems like you get so much more. Prague is beautiful, and then surrounding parts of the Czech Republic, same as Poland. Poland has multiple beautiful cities, and then there's Croatia, there's Slovenia, there's Slovakia, there's oh my God, Budapest. It's just so many. I mean, Hungary, Budapest, and all these places are beautiful and affordable. And you can live off of you can live in some of these countries, you can live off of 2,000 or under 2,000 a month, because I have done that when I first started. So I would say, and I was living off my savings, so I would say look up the place you want to try first, then you go to an Airbnb, see what that totals up to. If it's in your budget, book it for 2 weeks, come to the place, use that 2 weeks to roam around. And if you're going to be with people, and you can solo travel, that's what I do. It's not scary. They, like I said, they love Americans abroad. That's a very, it's a privilege, kind of, you feel like you're privileged a little bit as an American, because they know our culture and they like it. And, don't believe what others say about Europeans don't like us. That's not true. I've been treated the best here, sometimes better here than in the US. So definitely don't believe that. But I say you can go if you want to go in 6 months. It's doable. Like I said, that's what I did. I rented an Airbnb, and I've done this trial and error. That's why I'm giving you advice, because I've done it, and I've done it because I've made some mistakes. And when I would rent for the full month, it was always an issue, and I was always something. And then I said, no, I'm not doing that again. So I started narrowing it down. But I would always check the calendar for the month, just in case it is a place I like. I didn't want it to get rebooked. So I would immediately get there. And if I like it, I'll go around the city. If I like the apartment, and then the next day or whatever, it usually take me about a day to go to see from the city, from the area, because Europe, European cities aren't that big. You can find it. You can know if you like it or not. And then also the apartment is to your standards, and then immediately contact the owner or whoever is renting it out and say, can I want to stay for a month? Can you close the calendar and let's work a deal? And I never been told no from that. So it's not difficult. And for example, if you have a budget, it could be you don't want to pay more than 1,000 a month in rent. You can find lower than that for sure. I was paying 450 in Georgia a month with an ocean view. A lot of people probably seen my videos, but ocean view. It was a big studio apartment, but everything was included, in this apartment. A nice soft bed, desk. Downstairs was the hotel, so I had access to a cafe. I mean, a restaurant, high-end restaurant, because it was actually the Marriott. It was a Marriott in Batumi that was a apart hotel, and I was paying $450 a month for this place. And it's gone up since then, but not by much. The Russians came during the war, and the prices went up, and then that's why I left, because it was a lot of, after the war, a lot of Russians, coming to Georgia. The prices were being jacked up because of that, and so it was just no longer sustainable for me as far as that. But yeah, but now it's back to, a lot of the Russians have gone somewhere else to hide. And so I checked with my friends that are still there, and the prices went back down. So I'm probably going to head back to Georgia probably in mid year, just to see some of my friends, and I had invested there and stuff like that. So we'll see. But I was waiting for the war to stop before I head back that way, because they have some issues too with the government, and their government is kind of, well, they had a female president when I was there, and now she lost, and now they have this guy that's kind of like Trump, from what I understand. But so to answer your question, leave. I say the only thing, if it's stopping you, is that you really do want to have more money or whatever. I'm telling you, don't wait till, you think you need to have 10,000 before you leave. Your main goal is to have some type of income coming in, even if it's $20 an hour job online or whatever. That's income coming in that you won't drain from the income that you have saved in your savings. For me, I am very scared. My friend was actually bold. Well, fear is normal. If you don't have fear, you're not human, right? So you need to be fearful just to keep your guard up. But you can't be scared to make moves, because you don't want to look back and be at a certain age and say, dang, I should have did that, because that goes away. Being scared goes away. It's being fearful is normal. Being scared is something that's going to stop you from reaching your goals, or doing things that you always wanted to do. Uh, let's just think of it this way. It's not the moon. If you can move to another state in the United States, where people move all day, every day, to different states that are bigger than countries, here in Europe, and they do it all the time. Moving abroad is really not that big a deal. And I know it's easier for me to say that because I'm here, but even when I did it, after a while, and not even that long, I was like, why do I feel so comfortable? Because the only difference was the language. Everybody was doing the same thing. They all want to go to work. They got a family. The only difference was people were outside forever. It was new to me. People would go to work, go get the children from school or whatever, or if they didn't have children, they go to the park and they sit in the park, and they go in the cafe and they sit there. They don't go home from work. People were outside till 9 o'clock at night. I was like, why isn't everybody going home from work? That's not a European thing. people are outside a lot. So that was the difference for me. It was like I was like the only thing that felt different was it was people everywhere, always out. People sitting in the park, people on the benches, people in the cafes, people after work. They weren't going home to watch TV, but everything else was normal, you know? Everything was normal. It's like just like life. And you just do it. Okay, what did you say? Ooh. For me, I don't need, yeah, you need money, but you don't need a lot of it like you think. My other issue and problems too. Like I said, have do the research like I did when what my budget was, what I wanted. Like, say, for instance, I said, I'm not going to pay rent I'm not going to pay more than, because I'm abroad, I know I couldn't get away with this in the United States, but I wasn't paying more than $1,000 a month in rent. I said that was my budget, under 1,000, because my other issue and problem too, because she was pregnant and had a baby. She said her husband was in prison for life, so she was going to stay in America, and she left. But she didn't stay in America. She ended up leaving. Yeah. So yeah, it's better abroad. So even for that decision, especially if you have someone you're pregnant, now you got to live for the child and not for yourself. So would you want your child have better quality of life in a country where you don't have to worry about them, shoes, schools being shot up and things like that, you know? So you got to think about those things, if you're young enough and you can, you know, start a whole new life abroad where you're safe and the food's good and healthy and it's not killing you. Okay, and that's what I did. Moved to another state, and she said, "You're moving to another state," but I'm moving out of the country when I left my home state. Yeah, because if you can move from state to state, you can move to another country. The only difference is far away. If you have a family and you don't want to go so far because you have a close knit family in the U.S., that's a different issue. For me, you can always go home to visit. I did was the best move of my life, but she left. Oh yeah, so you do feel it was the best move of your life. That's good, you know. But she, yeah, but her decision was different. She left the country, but you all still both did good, because even if you leave to move to another state, that's still changing your life for the better, because all states aren't the same. Some states are better than others. Some are a better fit for you than others. A lot of my friends I grew up with in California, they don't live in California anymore. They live in other states, because you grow out of where you're from, or it's just like I said, it's not a good fit for you anymore. You know. But yeah, you made the right decision then. And if you don't feel it in your gut that you need to be abroad in another country, you don't have to. This is just how some people feel. And the election may make people want to move because of the choice that was made. But that's kind of something that will die down for the ones who are just doing it out of emotion. But if that's something that you really want to do, like me, I always knew I wanted to have a different quality of life. I wanted to see more of the world. And even if I'm in Europe and I'm in one country and I'm there and I don't travel as much, traveling in that country, being in a new culture, having the ability to be able to go to another country that's a couple hours later, eating food that's good for you, being safe, having quality of life, having, vacation time, those types of things mattered to me, I found, than having material stuff. Yes, I do live in home state. That's okay. Yeah, so for me, it's materialism wasn't, you know, as important as it is for most Americans, because that's how we were raised. Give you a good story. Another story is that I spent my Christmas here in Lagoa, which is on another coast, beautiful coastal cliffs, cliffs with the shore. You see the waves, and just beautiful. And it was on in a casita where they have a pool and all this other stuff. And I was there with my friends, and both of them had their children with them. And this was Christmas Eve. It came Christmas Eve. They both had their children. Their children were 10 and 11 and 12, three of them. And I just realized that they were Christmas morning. We woke up and we had dinner, huge Portuguese meal. And I realized that their kids were here on Christmas, and there was no one talking about gifts or gifts under the Christmas tree. It wasn't even a thing. Uh, they were there for Christmas to go swim, and it was beautiful weather, and we went down on the beach, and we ate good food, like I said, because it was a home that they were renting. So my friend was cooking, and the kids were they didn't even bring toys. They were like, that would never happen in the US. Christmas morning, kids are opening up gifts, you know, and they weren't. They were swimming in the heated pool that was there and enjoying Christmas. And they had two of them had their one gift that they got for Christmas, which is normal, like it's usually a big gift or something. And one of the children played the piano, and it's very good, and had a gift like that, an instrument, and the other one had his favorite art or whatever, but they were happy. Let me see, what were me reading? La la la, and that's what I did. Da, 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 da. Home state. Okay, so you say I ain't got I ain't got no family. I don't know. I like that. Yeah, I know what you mean though. That's funny. Yeah, I gotta give you a heart on that one. Yeah, I love. Okay, let me give you uh, a heart on that. Yeah, you said when I left my home state, I wish I had left there a long time ago. No, I don't have no family. I dumped them just before 9/11. Sometimes you have to do that. Sometimes you have to let it go. I have a big family in numbers, but I'm not really close to. I have always hated this country. I was just too scared to leave. Yeah, yeah. And sometimes and that's good you're not the only one. Most Americans are scared to leave. Most people who are in America, even if they're not American and they move there, you know, they it's scary. It's scary to leave because of what we're told. I'm telling you, like it's not that scary. It really isn't. People are nicer here. They have a different culture. It's you just be surprised. Even in the scariest times, there was always someone. There's a European that or someone that lives here saying, "Calm down. I may not understand what you're saying, but I can help you." It just blows me away the difference in here versus there in how we are so skeptical of each other and so individual. We don't really care, and I don't think it's on purpose. I think it's just the culturally we're too busy trying to survive. I definitely don't feel safe in this country, and I thought moving away would make me feel safe, but then I just realized that not it's not the area. Do you mean that when you moved to another state, you thought it was the area, so you moved to another state, or do you want to move to another country still? Or are you happy in the new state that you moved to? Is that what you're saying? Mhm. Okay, let's see. Don't Yeah, I definitely don't feel safe in the country. Oh, I read that. Yeah, because we do have to realize that every state is different in the United States. What is and even like healthcare, not healthcare, but safety is also different in some states too. Some states are safer than others. That's true. But at the same time, what scares me is that everyone has access, even if it's legal or not, to guns. Um, Everyone is not healthy and not mentally stable. There's a lot of mentally unstable people on the edge because they don't have health care. And that makes a lot of Americans either depressed, you have a depressed situation, um, you have some that go, worse, schizophrenic, dangerous. And I'm not blaming, mentally ill people or people who emotionally unstable, because it's we're a product of our country and of our society. Because if you don't get health care and you can't afford to get pills to take care, or not even pills, or just medication to be better, you know don't need, what is it, don't need, like, what are you shocked about? uh I definitely don't feel safe in this country. I just realized it's that. Okay, yeah, definitely. So it's a melting pot of a dysfunction. Not all America, but look what happened at the you know election. That divisiveness was so unhealthy and so crazy. And for a country that's rich and has so much money and is supposed to be smartest country, and the leader of the free world or whatever, even though it's not, to choose someone with this type of character to run your country, it just still amazes me. I cannot believe it. And I know some people were misled and chose for different reasons. But even those reasons, it's just still a person shows you who they are, and they are, and you still chose them. So it's crazy. So what were you saying? I see the emojis with the eyes. And then I know we're losing some people, so I'll probably end this live and I'll make more videos of what I have found as far as more information for you all about moving abroad. I'm happier than I've ever been, and since I was a child. As an adult, this is the happiest I've been. Um, it's great meeting people. I meet many abroad with the same, same plan, and same like-mindedness. And like I said, always stay connected to people who are in expat groups, or groups where you're thinking the same thing. I think that would be good for you. Who, if you're scared, join a Facebook group. I belong to a lot. I belong to, let me see, on here. You said, I truly appreciate your time and cannot wait to, oh, I can't wait to connect too. I'm glad you're here. I appreciate you being here. It's important. I felt like, but I left one state for another and thought it was the area or the state, but then I realized it's not that. Yeah, it's time for you to probably, you know, experience another country. You won't regret it. I'm so glad that um, Pineapple's in LA, that you joined me again, um, and I'm gonna make more videos, more content. I'm gonna try to be more consistent. I'm going to be more consistent because, what made me not consistent is that I was still traveling, trying to find my forever home and which one to choose. And I had to narrow them down. I had to go back to them multiple times to make sure. Oh, Sophia, you're still here. Thank you. That was great information. I was so glad I caught. I'm glad you did too. I wish I can, stay longer. I know, but and this is long enough, right? And ask me any questions in the comment sections too. I'm still reading them. Um, but I enjoyed this as well. I encourage, people who are wanting to move abroad, join the Facebook groups I belong to. I'm gonna name a few. And me during when I was my Airbnb, and then I forgot to buy the chargers. I didn't know I needed the different types of chargers for the outlets because I didn't do that type of research. So I had no working phones when I first arrived to Paris, but expat group that I had connected with before I left, they were able to help me, go here or do this. And so I belong to, if this matters to you, there's Americans in France. That's for people who are going to France. But I belong, then there's one, you might belong to this one. This one's Black women who love to travel. But then I also belong to, let's go back. It's so many. And I always reach out to them when I have just basic questions too. Travel, travel talks, travel to Europe. That's one. It's an expat group. If you're traveling Europe, girls, of course, everybody knows this one. Girl loves travel. Let's see what else. 9 more here. And expats living in Italy. Then there is solo women who travel. I'll put them in the description too, and you can also join those. They always help me, and then other ones will pop up when you join those. Oh, that's so nice! One of my expat friends on Facebook too told me about this link, so it was new to me, and I was like, "Oh, that's cute," because I love giving the information. Thank you so much. And I really appreciate that. And I'm going to I'm not going to say try. I'm going to be more consistent because I want you all to experience what I'm experiencing. If this internet was stable, I would show you this casita I'm renting right now to even give you proof. It has a pool, but I'll upload photos of that. You'll see. It's just, you all, you need to do it, and I will help you. Listen, but yeah, I want to say thank you because I'm glad it's helpful. That's all I care about. I'm thinking about doing an ebook too. That will have more information, and that one's it's just going to be uploaded. It's going to be free, of course. But I'm trying to look. There's another one here. There's so many groups. This one I just noticed. Over 50 Women Travel Club. That's one. Then there is, what was this? She Travels. I belong to this one. It's 760 members in this. La, 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 la. Let's see. I'll put a lot of them in. Oh, my cousin is in this one. I just noticed it. Black people love cats too. And I see my cousin is in this one. This is about cats. But anyway, I will put the links to the expat groups in Facebook. You can join because they have helped me immensely when I'm abroad. And I will continue. Remember to do your research. Do a lot of YouTube videos. Watch a lot of YouTubers that you see you like. Go look at the videos. Then go on Airbnb as if you're going to rent for real, even though you're not. Kind of like a mock test. See how much it costs there to rent for, whatever, a week. And that way you can get an idea of what the cost would be like for a certain degree, even though you're not there yet, but just get an idea and things like that. Oh, yeah, I know. That's funny. I found my cousin. And and it's a group about cats. And I said, Casey Sullivan. Oh, okay. But anyway, yeah. But I'm glad that I'm able to. I want to provide, an ebook. I have an ebook. I will upload. I will put when I finish it because it's basically finished. I just need to put some finishing touches on it, and then add a cover to it. And I'm gonna leave it in my description maybe next week, and it's gonna be downloadable for free. And it's just an ebook on travel, kind of things what I talked about, but more of the resources, the actual places, the names, what I do, which ones, how you're able to, with booking.com. I forgot to mention that booking.com is a good resource too for where I rent my accommodations, and you can get a lot of discounts. The more you've used it, some people already probably know this, you get to third tier and you get 20% off of everything you book once you get to their tier 3 level, which is I'm at. So I get discounts from using Booking, 20% everything. And same thing with Airbnb. The more you use them, the cheaper they get. So I'm gonna leave that with you. So do kind of like a play around with the places you want to go. YouTube them. Watch as many videos as you can, like I have of the people living there, not touring, but living, and then just go from there. And feel free to reach out to me, you know, and ask me as many questions. But I'm going to upload more consistently of where I am, my decisions, maybe some things I do in a day when I'm living abroad. Okay. So I will end it there. And I really thank you for buying me the coffee. And I appreciate that. That was just something another expat told me about, and I just thought I throw it in there, but it's not expected, but I appreciate it. And because in this doing all these different things, I'm preparing, I'm doing this, I'm trying to make sure I'm here and there and everywhere. I was a little late today, but I want to be able to give you the information you all need, and I'll be here to give you more. Okay. So I'm gonna say bye, y'all. This was so much fun, and next time, hopefully, I appreciate that my subscribers are growing, but I'm trying to get to 1,000, so I can be able to get monetized, and then I'll be motivated to do more videos a day, and maybe follow me what I'm doing, because I'll be able to buy the equipment to be able to use as the sound quality would be good and all that, because I'd love to show you all how I shop. I go to talk to some of the people, the natives, because I talk a lot. I'm not always by myself, I just don't show it. But if I had the right equipment and the camera, I would love to show my friends that I meet, the real natives, going into the stores, doing daily stuff. So hopefully I can do that. Thank you. Applause to you all for being here. I appreciate it. And it's my first live in 3 years. You know what's so interesting? The last live I did, I was here in Portugal, but it was during the lockdown, 2021. I was on lockdown in Lisbon in an Airbnb that the owner gave me a good deal on. Same thing. It was an Airbnb. After being there, I paid him. He came every month to pick it up for me. 2021. That was the last live I did. Was here in Portugal, not in Faro where I am now. So I appreciate. Yeah, that's weird. How? So yeah, it's been 3 years since I've done a live, and because I just was too busy doing other things, working and doing my online stuff, and I didn't think that people would be interested anymore, and because I had already been uploading videos of what I'm doing. But then I realized after I got a lot of messages from people after the election, they were like, I just need to know more. I need to hear it from you. And it's doable. It is doable. You can leave. It's just another country. It's not the moon. You can always go home. The planes are there's a plane available every minute of the day. And but I don't think you would, have that issue. I think you will be like me. I wish I would have moved earlier. Yeah. Yeah, it's not the moon. And we'll be living there too. Who knows? No, I'll move there too. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, it's just think of it in that way. People are people everywhere around the world. It's just the cultures are different and people value things differently in different countries. They value a little bit more kindness here. Not saying they're perfect, but they're old countries. They're not like the new world, like the USA. It was built on what. So so it's kind of, yeah, it is what it is. But come see for yourself. I'm here as well. I can't wait to see pineapples in LA. When you get out here, I'm here. And you will know from my videos which country I chose, if it's going to be Poland or if it's going to be the Czech Republic, or you might get a surprise country in there. Not really a surprise, not one that I haven't gone to, but one that you didn't expect. Okay. All right. So I'm going to say bye to everyone. Okay. And thanks for joining my live. And please, I know you're already subscribed, but if you know anyone who can who get value from these travels, have them subscribe, send, share it with them and have them subscribe. I'm trying to get to 1,000, so help me do that, okay? You're welcome. Thank you all again. This was amazing. I will have a good night, and I'm going to have some wine. Yeah, some good Portuguese wine tonight. And just to celebrate from this live. So you all go have a good day and stay connected with me too, okay? And Tina Travels Abroad will always be here, and I'm looking forward to seeing you all out here. Come out here. Okay. All right, guys. Have a good day, and thanks again for joining me live. Okay. Bye. Now I have to figure out how to leave again. I forgot. Okay. Bye. Thanks.